Hello. Welcome to the Vibe channel. I'm Angel Confetti, your hostess for the evening, and I'm really glad to have you join me, and I hope you're having a wonderful week so far. We're coming into the weekend, and it has been really, really hot here, and that has been in our area here in Ohio in the States. It's extremely humid, and I have to say, it's been quite challenging. It's really interesting because I have friends that live on the other side of the country where it gets hotter degree wise, can get up into the hundreds, but it's dry air there. And when we go there, I can breathe easier than I can here, only in the 90s, even low 90s. With that humidity, it just sits in your chest, right? And it makes it so hard to breathe. And it just really made me stop to think this week about how many people are struggling, how many people are on the other side of the world braving winter storms. And no matter whether you're going through the heat, whether you're going through the cold, just a few months ago, we were complaining of how cold it was and how miserable we were, and we didn't want the snow anymore. We were tired of that. And yet we get here, and now we're complaining about the heat. And rightfully so. It's really uncomfortable. But I think it's so easy for us to just automatically go into a negative space of complaining and not showing gratitude for the fact that, my God, I'm alive to breathe this air that is hot and humid, but give it a week here in Cincinnati and it'll be nice and cool. That's how it is around here. You wait a week and it changes. But yeah, I feel like we're always so quick to complain, and then we forget those that are battling some big major atrocities right now, like volcanoes. I mean, I don't have those here. I don't have to worry about anything awful taking over my home like that, or risking my environment and my fresh air. The wildfires that are all over the place right now, severe drought kicking in, and like I said, winter storms. And I think the reason that I mention this is really because I just want, if nothing else, to leave a message this week of gratitude, and to realize that no matter how difficult it may seem, it could always be worse, but it can always be better. And it's all in your perception and how you choose to think about it. You do have the choice in how you react to these situations. You do have a choice in what you allow to trigger you. Trigger is the word of the day today, because trigger is something that can cause us to react. It can cause us to react with a strong emotion, with strong energy. And it's a great segue. Before I leave it, though, I just want to say, just try and be grateful and think of those that are suffering, that are really struggling, and be grateful for your situation, but pray for those and send them love, send them healing, just by setting the intention of please send them love, send them healing, universe, God, spirit, whatever you believe in, and setting that intention is critical. It really can make a difference, even if you don't know how else to send healing, or if you don't believe in prayer, you can still make a difference. So intention and trigger are two important things to lead me into my next topic that I'd like to talk about today. But no matter what you're struggling with, understand that it is real and it's okay. It's okay to feel the way that you do. It's still your problem. It's still your issue that you're dealing with, or your inconvenience, or a real circumstance. So don't dishonor that. It's okay to honor that, but let it go after you try and look at changing it for the positive and not allowing it to trigger you. So something that I've noticed a lot lately in social media groups and with people that I've been doing readings for is there's a lot of, with all these other circumstances going on around us right now, life being quite a struggle and shifts in energy that are happening, I'm seeing a lot of people getting triggered very easily, myself included. I am definitely one to struggle with this as well. But that are easily triggered by little things that really shouldn't be that big of a trigger for us, but something in our past as a child, or even in a past life, is so ingrained in us that all it takes is somebody to do something very small that wouldn't affect the person next to you or the next 5 people, but all of a sudden it triggers a immediate response for you. It may be a very strong emotional response. It may be grief immediately, sudden grief. It may be panic, anxiety. It could be a lot of different things. But what we don't realize is a lot of times it's only natural for us, when we feel those strong emotions, to feel like a victim, rather than stop and look at, why is this triggering me? Because this trigger, this response that comes up in me, is actually a really good learning tool. It's a warning sign of something below the surface that is affecting you in a strong way. It may sit below that surface for years and not surface, and then come out of the blue one day and turn into a huge emotional wreckage of a problem for you, or it may keep just sitting there right below the surface, bubbling, like waiting to explode for the next trigger and the next trigger, and it keeps resurfacing. But here's the problem. If you don't take a look at it and pay attention to what it's trying to tell you, it's going to keep coming back. It's not going to settle down. The other thing is, when you are triggered by something that somebody else does to you, or you perceive it as they are doing it to you, that's your perception. And the other person may not have had that intention of trying to upset you or trigger you in any way, shape, or form. And it might have been the farthest thing from their mind. But because of pre-programmed beliefs and weaknesses that we've developed, and pain and suffering from our past that dealt with these types of issues, we have a preconceived notion that when somebody brings up that word or says something that way or acts passive-aggressive, that they must have a hidden intention or an intention of trying to harm us, or they're wanting to trigger us, where they may be coming from a completely different outlook and not even know that that's what you're thinking. And I've seen that a lot lately with the stress that's going on in our lifetime right now, with everything that people are struggling with. I think it's really important to stop and look at what is triggering us. We tend to get triggered really quickly, and we tend to jump to conclusions that that person is out to get us, or they meant to hurt us. But when you stop and you look at that trigger and you ask yourself, what is that trying to teach me? Why? When else in the past has this come up? What caused it then? How did I react then? And how did that work for me? Did it go over well? Why is it coming back again? If you start asking yourself those questions, especially in meditation, and you can ask your spirit guides for help to realize what this is trying to tell you, or you can pray about it and ask for assistance through prayer. Once you start to do that, you may get an immediate answer that comes to you right away. It may be with time it comes out and becomes more obvious to you. But once we start to acknowledge it and really asking questions about it, we tend to be able to release the negative energy that is surrounding that issue and that trigger. And oftentimes, just by acknowledging it and asking questions, we can actually put that trigger to bed, so to speak, or release it out into the universe and have it not trigger us so much next time. Sometimes it's really easy and it's released and it's gone. Sometimes it's a little deeper and it takes time. But I also urge you to always think about the intention of the other person. What do you think? You know, hopefully you know the other person, but if you don't, ask yourself, what do you think they really intended to say? Start questioning yourself. Okay, here's what I think they meant by that. Do I think that that's what they meant? And look at your history with this person. Is this person the kind of person that would try and hurt you that way? Because if not, then chances are that wasn't their intention. If they are that kind of person, then ask yourself, don't jump to conclusions. Don't assume that they're making that another mistake, but try and ask yourself, is it possible they may have meant something else by that? And thinking it through can sometimes just trigger a better response and actually cause you to realize, you know what, I don't think that's what they intended at all. And you can actually stop yourself from reacting in a compulsive way, or excuse me, an impulsive way where you may lash out at that person, if you stop and ask yourself these questions as soon as you recognize the trigger, maybe take a step back, wait a few minutes before responding, or tell that person you got someplace you need to be, something you need to do, ask them if you can get back to them shortly, and then stop and work through this. Oftentimes, you'll be able to avoid a confrontation that could potentially get you in trouble with a coworker or an employer, or could, actually ruin a friendship or a relationship, could cause a lot of stress in your partnership or with a child or a sibling. So taking the time to ask yourself why and what is triggering it, asking yourself what's the other person's intention, and trying to work through it that way can save a lot of headache, a lot of heartache. And it doesn't come immediately easy to do this, but set the intention from now on to try to be more aware of these things. Ask Spirit, God, whoever you look to for advice, to help you recognize these triggers when they happen and help you work through them. Because if we all stop and do that, we'll become more and more aware of how we're triggered. You get a lot of insight into yourself and who you are and who you've become, and you can start to heal a lot of the past hurts and things that caused those triggers. But most importantly, you can actually really help the environment and surroundings around you to be a more pleasant place to be. You can make people want to be around you more and enjoy being with you, and it can lighten up the stress in your life. And if we all did that, wouldn't the world be a much better place? Wouldn't we have a lot less drama and strife if we all took moments to stop and see what's triggering us and why? So I'd like to leave that with you for the week. And before we take go to a caller for the evening, I just want to let you know that next week we're going to talk about what's your sign. So back in the 80s or the 90s, Jeff Foxworthy, a great comedian, had a whole skit that he did, and they even did a song about it, and a couple of other people did knockoff songs about it called What's Your Sign? This goes along with what's your intention, who are you, and what if you wore a sign across your forehead that told people about you and who you are, what would it say? Would it say something positive, or would it say something negative out into the world? Would it make people want to approach you, or make people want to run the opposite direction and have nothing to do with you? So next week, if you join me right here on A1R, same time, place that you're watching or listening right now, Moonstruck TV or any of our apps, join us then, because I have a really great insight into how to figure out what people are, what their perceptions are of you, what kind of a sign you're carrying around, as well as how to recognize other people's signs and take them for face value to save yourself a lot of time, stress, and drama, because a lot of people tell you from your first impression whether or not you need to invest your time and energy into this person or not. And so many times we ignore it, and then we get burnt. So join me here next week, same time, on Thursday evening. But I'd also, before we go to our first caller, I would like to invite you to join me on my website and my spiritual community at thevibechannel.com. It is a great place to come and get to know people of like minds that are trying to grow spiritually. We offer free events like live readings, free readings on social media, and everything is announced on the website, thevibechannel.com. But you can also join me and follow me on social media. On Facebook, I'm Angel the Channel, and you can just go to facebook.com/Angel the Channel. On Instagram, Angel the Channel Confetti. So Instagram/Angel the Channel Confetti. And on Twitter, at Angel the Channel on Twitter. And you can also find me the same on YouTube, but you can follow me, subscribe, like, and share things that you see that you enjoy so that others can benefit from it as well. But if you don't know me and I didn't introduce myself beyond my name, I am an intuitive channel medium. So I'd like to take a caller tonight and see what Spirit has for this person that's calling in. So, is there a caller available? We have, is it Virginia in McAllen, Texas? Is it Virginia? Or Virgin,
Okay.
excuse me, Virgin, are you with us?
Yes, ma'am, I'm here.
Hi, welcome. Sorry, I don't have my glasses on. I apologize.
Oh,
Welcome
you're
to
okay.
the show.
Thank you.
How are you this evening?
I'm doing okay. We're just stuck inside because everything's flooded outdoors. So we're just trying to stay positive, and we've just been here listening to your show and doing some meditations and just trying to make the best of it.
Oh, wow. Yeah, and you know what? I didn't mention the floods, but yes, there's been so much rain lately in a lot of places. There's a lot of flooding, and I am sorry to hear that you're being inconvenienced by that, because that can be a big hardship in a lot of areas. But it sounds like you're handling it in a very positive way, and good for you for that, because that can be a very challenging time. But at least you're listening to us, and hopefully you're getting something good out of it. I'd love to see what Spirit has for you this evening. Do you have a question for me, or what was your what would you like to know this evening?
Yeah, just something with whatever Spirit has for me as far as a message, especially anything related to family and relationship.
Okay, absolutely. Okay, so you know what? I have been trying to explain how I do some of the things that I do when I connect, just for people that aren't aware. So for those of you that are not readers, or mediums, or psychics, basically what I do is I stop and I say in my mind, I'd like to connect with Spirit that come through for Virgin, and I would like to either connect with her higher self or spirit guides or any spirit that stepped through. So I set that intention. Another time when intention is very important. I ask them to step through, and then I see who's here for you. Okay, and
Okay.
I'm picking who's the really strong mother type energy that I'm feeling. Not sure if it's a mother or a grandmother. Could even be an aunt that was very motherly to you. I feel very loving.
My stepmom, my mom. Yes.
Okay. I've heard first mom, but that sometimes I say that and it's a grandmother or another relation that was like a mother to you. So I try not to make that assumption that it's definitely mom, but I heard mom, and I'm hearing, I'm here. I want you to know that I am hearing you and I am with you. And I do see what's going on with you. And I know that this comes through in a lot of readings, and some people are like, yeah, well, anybody might say that, Spirit, but I really feel like she is saying she's really, really proud of you and the way that you've been handling things, because not just the floods, but I feel like you've been up against a lot of hardship and a lot of adversity over the last few years. And she's saying that you may not have felt like it at times, but you have handled things beautifully in such a wonderful way. And she said, and don't blame yourself for those times where it was a bad day and you felt like maybe you could have handled it better. She said, because you have grown so much over the last few years, spiritually and emotionally, that you're getting better and you're responding much better in ways that you wouldn't have in the past. Does that make sense to you?
Yes.
Okay.
Is this someone that's already passed?
This energy is somebody that is passed, yes. But I don't, like I said, I didn't know if it was your mother or
right. Because
someone of
my mom, I never met her. She committed suicide when I was a baby.
Okay.
She didn't die right away. She had time to reflect. So I've always had that in my conscience, and I've always, wanted to know if there was anything she ever wanted to tell me, or,
Yes. And you know what? Now that See, so what people don't understand is sometimes when readers are trying to get info from spirit, we get limited amount of information, but we get the energy, and we're reading the energy of the person before they give a specific name. So when you give us insight like that, it just makes it easier for us to confirm yes or no that yes, it is this person or it's not that person, because there could be two similar types of energy. You could have two types of moms on the other side or two grandmothers on the other side. So let me confirm first. Let me make sure of which one this is here.
Right.
Okay. Yes, it actually is her. The one that committed suicide. You have, like I said, you have two motherly type energies on that side that are watching over you. But the one that that is stepping forward and is speaking is this one. Because she's saying that she has actually been one of your spiritual guiders, one of your advisors since she passed. That she has actually been trying to help you grow spiritually. And she's saying that there are a lot of ways she couldn't have been there for you even if she had stayed living, because she got to the point where mentally and emotionally she shut down in a lot of ways and just could not cope or handle her own issues. So she couldn't be there for others in the way that she needed to be. And she's regretted that ever since. But she said, now I'm able to do so much more for you on this side than I ever could have on that side. Because on this side, I have the insight from spirit, from I can see the truth and the things around me that I couldn't see before. And she's saying, so yes, absolutely. She's saying, I have been there for you ever since I've passed, and I've been trying to reach out and connect with you, but I've never been able to actually get through to you that it was me. And that it's been bothering me, that I wanted you to know that I'm definitely there for you, especially on your spiritual path, because that's something that she struggled with so much when she was living, that she really didn't have somebody to help her. She didn't know about spirit guides. She didn't know the things that she knows now. So she wants to make sure she's there for you in that way so that she can guide you and you can learn lessons the easier way and without all the trouble that she had to go through. Does that make sense?
Yes, yes.
Okay. She actually asked me to draw a card for you, and I'm not sure what message she has out of this card that she wants me to draw, but let's see what one comes through. Let's see. Was it this one? Yes or no? Yes. Okay. Okay, that's why this makes sense now. She was telling me you're more spiritually advanced than she ever was. And because of that, she wants to make sure that you have the guidance that you need so that you can perform your life purpose and live the true full life that you deserve and that you desire for yourself. She said she wants you to know first and foremost that she loves you, no matter if it seems like she couldn't, or how could she when she didn't get to know me. She said, no, I know you now far more than I ever could have back then. She said, I know everything about you. I know your heart. I know what, not in your head knowing all your thoughts, but she knows your intentions and your thought behind things. And she wants you to know that she sees how precious you are. Excuse me. And she really appreciates you for who you are. And she said she keeps coming back. She starts to say she's sorry, but then she pulls back away from that, like she doesn't want to leave this on a sorrowful note. She doesn't want to. She's struggling with actually acknowledging the negative and making the choices that she made that separated you two. But she's saying, you know what? No, I need to stop you because we have limited time here. I really just want to tell her I'm sorry. I'm sorry for my part in what was done that separated me from being able to be there for her. And tell her, I know that it seems strange that I could love her as much as I do, but I really do, despite having never really gotten to know her on the other side. And she wants me to show you this card before we have to wrap up because we're limited on time. But she said, I just need to stop you. I just really want to say, I'm sorry for the choices that I made, but I want you to know that I am here now making better choices so that I can help you, assist you and your family, and be there for you in a way that I just couldn't before. Yeah. And she's telling me she wants me to show you this card. It's this beautiful unicorn. And she said, not only are you spiritually advanced, she said, you might not know everything that you know, but this card says you are gifted. And it says you are very intelligent and talented. This card wants you to know that she told me to pull this card for you, that you are so intelligent. Like a high-speed computer, you have the ability to learn and memorize a lot of material. Even when you think you don't, you're actually absorbing things that you don't even realize. You're especially gifted in finding out which topics interest you. You have the gift of creativity with your wisdom and your ability to see things in a special way, and you can be successful at almost anything. And she just really wanted me to emphasize that she is going to be there to help you along the way with your spiritual path, her and your other guides, but her specifically. She wants you to reach out to her anytime you're comfortable with that.